Football programs around the nation are in a full-blown panic trying to keep up with what's happening in East Lansing.
They ain't gonna have no answer for Katin Hauser or Germie Bernard.
Germie Bernard is the best receiver in Nevada history.
Germie Bernard is like a mix of DeAndre Hopkins and CeeDee Lamb.
Germie Bernard would have been the best wide receiver in the national title game.
MSU pairs him with the best QB recruit of the 21st century. The history books will be rewritten.
One day, Tom Brady will be dethroned by Katin Hauser as the NFL GOAT.
Katin Hauser in a Jay Johnson offense will be the 8th wonder of the world.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready for Katin Hauser's Heisman speech.
The All-American Bowl made an incredible mistake not inviting Katin Hauser. This disrespectful act will be remembered forever and will never be forgiven.
There's nothing they can do to stop destiny from occurring.
The puddle people can't handle the deep waters of Michigan State University.
Welcome to the deep waters of Michigan State University. I gotta say, because I was accused of intellectual property theft about a week ago by Evan Jenkins of 97.1, so I want to give due credit to Odell Bredham Jr., who's actually sitting in my hallway right now, about 7 feet from where we're sitting right now, who basically, without knowing it, unintentionally contributed the entire script for that introduction. It was all based pretty much verbatim on Odell Bredham tweets. So great job by him on the script, unwittingly as it may have been. That was a lot of fun. And speaking of a lot of fun, I've been having a lot of fun around here lately. Some of our best shows recently, for sure. I've been really into everything we've done, but this is going to be way up there for me because it's not too often that you get two members of the Deep Water at the same time. It's actually only the second time in show history. Prior, we had Connor Hayward and Kenneth Walker, and now we're moving on to the next step into the future. Spartans everywhere, I think, are thrilled for this one based on the instant reaction from the picture we sent out about 7 minutes ago. It's time for the future. The quarterback of the future across from me, Katin Hauser, the wide receiver number one of the future, Germie Bernard. Welcome to the Spiro Avenue Show, guys.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
I got to say, aside from your football status, you are sort of the envy of my eye because anyone that is just starting at Michigan State, I'm the most jealous person ever of because every single day I wish I could go back for 5 minutes. So I'm going to give you like the Billy Madison, like cherish it, shake your face kind of thing. You guys have such a good future ahead of you. I'm excited for everything you have, both individually and as a program. I think we can start in so many different ways. I want to start here, though. Some people, that I'm seeing are crediting Kenneth Walker and Connor Hayward's appearance here for why they had such good years. That we gave them such good juju at the beginning of last year. Everything went well for them. You guys have some distance because they did it after week one. You guys have some time. Hopefully the sheen doesn't wear off. We have a little more time before we see you for sure. Katin, I want to start with you, and we'll be kind of bouncing back and forth throughout this. So I was reading into you. Obviously, I've been following your recruitment and was happy when you landed here. I thought that was a coup for Michigan State. And in doing some digging, it seems like this is, no offense to anybody else, the program is as smitten with you, it seems, as anyone I can remember in terms of recruiting in a long time. We pulled this quote, although there were several out there, we pulled this one of Colton Pouncey from The Athletic talking about a little bit about your recruitment and your visit at Michigan State. This is from Colton Pouncey at The Athletic. Ever since he was identified, Katin Hauser was at the top of Michigan State's board. He was viewed as a top target, a prospect the staff worked to get on campus. Michigan State welcomed him onto the Spartan Stadium field, a line of coaches on each side applauding him as he walked out of the tunnel and onto the field. He was made a priority, and for good reason. Now, that was one piece of an article that really, the whole thing was glowing. I don't know if you read it. That's quite a welcome. I was waiting for the part where they're throwing rose petals at your feet. Can you talk about your process on? You were a Boise State commit, and Boise State, anyone can say whatever they want. It's a really good program. They had 20 top 25 finishes the last quarter century. What was that process where you're this quarterback, highly regarded, although more so now maybe than at the initial phase of your recruitment, and you're at Boise State in paper on the graphics, but obviously not all the way there. Take me from there to you're sitting here now and we're talking about Michigan State football.
Yeah, the whole recruiting process for me was a whirlwind. The I had that shortened COVID year, my junior year, so a lot of guys in my class were already starting to lock up commits and stuff like that. I committed to Boise without even seeing it. I just did it through COVID, through Zooms and stuff like that. I had trust and belief in them, and I committed there. And over the summer, I planned to go and do other visits with other schools, and I definitely have Michigan State marked on my calendar. I've just been talking with Coach Tucker and Coach Johnson. I just had a belief in them, and I wanted to go see Michigan State for myself. And I took that trip up there, and as Colin mentioned on that tweet, going up and walking through that tunnel, that was just the moment I knew, like, this is where I wanted to be, and this felt like home. And it worked out thus far, and I love it here, and I can't wait to go out and play on that field, so I'm excited.
So they reach out to you. Do you recall the first time you heard from Michigan State? Like, who called you? Was it Johnson? Was it Tucker? Who called you first?
Yeah, it was Coach Johnson. I've been in contact with him for over like 2 years now, so he's been part of my recruitment process, just staying in touch, asking me for videos, and just calling him too and just checking up and stuff like that. I feel like I built a great bond before he even offered me and gave me that commitment, so I had a really strong bond with him at the start.
So when you get past that initial, hi, Katin, I'm Jay Johnson, and I want to talk to you about coming to Michigan State. The thing they all say. What's sort of Michigan State's first line to you in your recruitment? Was it more individualized, like here's how we can help you? Was it more team-based, we want to win titles here? Like, what was kind of their opening pitch to get you sort of on the hook, so to speak?
The biggest thing was the development. I mean, Jay Johnson's worked with one of the greatest quarterbacks in high school and college and stuff like that. So him giving me the opportunity, just saying that he's going to help me develop and be the best quarterback can be, I just really had belief in him. And he's brought a lot of quarterbacks from college and into the NFL, and that's definitely a dream of mine, is going to the NFL. And I feel like Coach Johnson and Coach Tucker and the rest of the MSU staff is going to give me the opportunity to do that. So I really have belief in them, and I'm excited to start working with them.
Was that hard doing the decommitment to Boise State? I know it's not rare. It's actually almost weird not to decommit from someplace at least once, I feel like, in the current landscape. And honestly, like, this applies to both you, but I'll start with you, Kate, and then we'll throw it over. Like, you have the love of the fans, I'm guessing. I'm not familiar with Boise State's Twitter presence, and maybe it's great, maybe it's not non-existent. I honestly don't know. But was that difficult to make that call to them and then face any blowback, or did you face any blowback?
Yeah, I had a really good relationship with their fan base. Obviously, it's probably not on the scale the same as MSU's. I mean, MSU blows up my phone on Twitter and stuff like that, and I really appreciate the love from the fans and stuff like that. But as far as just Boise, I felt like it was really tough to make that phone call and decommit, but I thought it was in best interest for my future, and I really didn't have any problems with Boise. I felt like it was going to be a good place for me, but just looking at my future and looking at that aspect, I felt like making that call and making that decommitment and choosing to come here was one of the best decisions I ever made, and I feel like it's working out so far, so I'm excited.
Germie, did you get any, because you were a Washington, not only commit, like a signee, you see your case is a little more unique because it's not as common to see a letter of intent be allowed to be rescinded. I don't know the percentage, but it happens a lot less often than people just decommitting before the letter's in. Right. So you're obviously at Washington. Now, the narrative around you, I have no idea if this is true. The narrative around you is you're obviously committed to Washington. You had a relationship with the wide receivers coach there, and the head coach too. Head coach Jimmy Lake gets let go. Your receivers coach ends up departing for Oregon. Yeah. The story is that's why you left. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's part of the reason. Me and Coach Adams, we built a relationship at the beginning of my recruiting process, and ever since then, he's been a big mentor to me. And when he left, it was kind of like he said, a whirlwind for me. So I was kind of like on the edge of like, what am I going to do, if I'm going to stick it out, or I'm going to find a new avenue. So did you know pretty sure? I know, Whirlwind, you're reflecting, but were you pretty sure you were stepping out of or going to attempt to step out of the letter of intent when he departed? When I first got there, I didn't think of it. I was just gonna stick it out, and then I just talked it over with my family, with my parents, and then we made the decision to go back home, and we just started talking to Coach Jay, Coach Tucker. And that's when we started going in and try to get my letter of intent back. So your situations are a little different. Because you were farther along, having signed the letter, but at the same time, you had your coaching staff leave. Your position coach and the head coach. Yep. So I feel like were they relatively understanding? The fans on their side seem to be understanding. Who can blame the kid is some of them were.
You got some shit when you.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Really? What do people say? Like just traitor kind of thing? Like what's
somebody texted me on Instagram. They was like, "Oh, it's because of the money or something." I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, I ignored all that. I mean, I'm not really a person to bite into that. But like you were saying, it was the best decision for me, and I mean for my family as well. Even though I'm farther than Washington was, but it's definitely a big opportunity for me. It's a blessing to be here with Coach Tuck and Coach Hawk.
What's the kind of blowback from? Were fans mean to you a little bit? Did you get a DM saying how much was the bag kind of thing?
Yeah, multiple. Yeah, I got a bunch of Twitter notifications, a bunch of DMs, stuff like that. Just people. I mean, they're just talking and stuff like that. You kind of got to block that noise out and just focus on what you have to do in your decisions. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if I screw up at my job, no one gives a shit. Although, if you call this a job, like, which I don't, but like if you did, a lot of people call me on my shit all the time. I used to do the show barefoot because I'm thinking I'm in my basement. Why am I wearing shoes in my basement? And then people are making fun of me. You got to put shoes on. So, but you guys are on that scale times 1,000, or you will be obviously as you advance in your college careers. Like, is that hard ever to? Because you guys were both in this box in a different way. Is that hard to piss a lot of people off and just ignore that? Because you're 18, both of you, right?
I'm 17.
You're 17.
Yeah.
Dude, you're more buttoned up than me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a lot more polished than I was at 17. I had a lot of problems at 17, not legal problems, but I wasn't as sharp as you. But is that hard for you guys to deal with that stuff?
I mean, not really, not for me. I mean, I just let people talk, let people say what they gotta say, because at the end of the day, they're not gonna stop me for what I gotta get.
Yeah.
Yeah, on that point too. I mean, you know you're gonna let people down, and you can't make everyone happy. So I just take that with a grain of salt, and I know that the best decision for me was to come here, and I respected that, and that kind of makes it go a little bit easier, just knowing that you're doing what's best interest for yourself. So.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt that you guys were entering into the welcoming arms of a fan base.
For sure.
No offense to those two schools. I mean, Washington's okay, but like Boise State, Michigan State just has such a bigger alumni base and like more of a traditional. People can laugh all they want, but like we have multiple, like 6 national titles. Like Boise State does not have that. So yeah, I think that helps that you're not transferring to Eastern Michigan. It's like it's a different profile. Was there like a clear, other than just cachet and it's a bigger program, was there anything, I mean, from either one of you where, like, look, I have this, I can go to Boise State tomorrow, they want me, or I can go to Washington tomorrow, they want me, but I can't get this here, but I can at Michigan State? Was there something specific about this level of coaching, how nice the sauna was? I mean, whatever. Was there anything that stood out, like, I can get this at Michigan State, but not where I'm at right now?
I mean, for me, the biggest thing was, I mean, I walked around the towns. Like, I walked around East Lansing, I walked around Boise, Idaho, and I felt like the atmosphere here just doesn't compare to the school I was at before. So I feel like here, the atmosphere and the fan base and the love that I get from the fans and stuff like that, and just being in East Lansing, I just don't feel like I get that same experience if I was at Boise State.
For me, I mean, Seattle is definitely a beautiful town. They have a great coaching staff now. But for me, it was most so I want to own businesses in the future. And I know that Michigan State has a good entrepreneurship program. And I know that it's better than Washington, of course, yeah. And I think it would really be a big beneficial to me in what I want to major in.
We produce billionaires at Michigan State, and I mean, I'm sure you guys know Darian Harris, right?
Yeah.
I think he got his MBA or was about to finish his MBA at Michigan State, and he's the same thing. I think he'll actually be our athletic director in like 15 years whenever Alan Howard wants to do something else, not because we're firing him or anything. But yeah, Michigan State's business school is fantastic, and the education is really interesting, which actually reminds me, when we had Warren in here, Warren McCree, the director of on-campus recruiting, I'm sure you watched every second of that episode, but in case you forgot, like we were talking about you. I mean, she brought you up. I didn't even bring you up, but I was talking with her like, how are the visits individualized? Like, obviously, some kids, like stuff that other kids don't. Like, is it everything just kind of a cookie cutter template? And she used you as an example. She said you wanted to meet with an orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah.
So is that's your thing? You want to be a doctor at some point?
I'm majoring in kinesiology right now, so I feel like just being around sports and also doing medical stuff like that, I feel like that can suit my future. And I feel like there's many different options, many different pathways I can take in doing that. So I'm definitely interested in doing that. So
my dad's sitting here watching this probably right now saying, why couldn't my son be more like him? Like, why didn't he meet with the surgeon at 17? I'd be like, where the bar's at? But Yeah, I found Warren's whole thing fascinating, and your example was in the article with Colton Pouncey, where he's talking about like you're coming out to people throwing flowers at your feet and fanning you with a giant leaf like you're in ancient Egypt. Like, what was your kind of reception? Because I saw the picture of you obviously with Tucker. I think when you signed or committed or whatever it was, did they do anything like kind of weird or special or off the wall for you, or were you already set? You're coming here and it was just a handshake.
I mean, I was already said that I was coming here, so it was nothing. It was nothing big. It was nothing. Like
no pomp and circumstance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look, I always say with recruiting, it's not really my beat. Like, not that I acknowledge the importance of it. It's obviously the lifeblood of the program. I know its importance. I'm not one of those people, oh, it's overrated. I just have like too much stuff going on. I can't follow it. But you two are like kind of the exception of where I was aware of you, and from Odell Brenton blowing up Katin in particular. We pulled this quote from Connor Muldowney, who's a friend of mine, has been on the show talking specifically about you, Germie. I thought this was an interesting perspective on the program at large and tying you in. So this is Connor Muldowney writing for Spartan Avenue, not Spiro Avenue, Spartan Avenue. Quote, "The flip of Germie Bernard is a sign of things to come. Mel Tucker has pieced together Michigan State's best class since 2016, and most of the commitments came from before the season. Just imagine how elite his classes will be when he can sell the on-field results like his 11-2 Peach Bowl winning season. Bernard was a crown jewel of Washington's class, but he decided to join Mel Tucker and company instead." So you're getting put as like sort of the shining example of like things were going pretty well, but like look what Mel just pulled off sort of at the buzzer with Bernard coming from Washington to Michigan State. What's kind of like the buzz to you up there in general? Because we brought this up before. Tucker's talked about it openly. He wants to win national titles. Like he's not in this business, and this is for either one of you, but he's not in this business of let's go 10-2 and be Iowa. No offense to Iowa, but like 10-2, they usually peak and then they get blown out in whatever bowl game. Like he has no interest in that. He's talked about it openly. Connor puts you in sort of this perspective of this is a sign of elite things to come. You were one of the first seeds planted, and really kind of goes back to you too, Katin, as well. Like, do you guys sense the vibe up there? Do you guys talk about national titles or competing at that level? Is that a thing that's even on your radar at this point?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of my first goals is to win a national title, and I know being under Coach Tuck, I will be able to do that. He has all the right, all the right tools, all the right players, all the good players. To be able to do that. So, I mean, I'm in a great position.
Yeah, on my end, too, I mean, as much as you love, like, the fan base and the Twitter and all the love and stuff like that, we're here to win football games. And just meeting with Coach Tucker and having already with team meetings, stuff like that, and seeing his vision for the program and seeing the recruits he's bringing in, you can tell everyone's starting to buy into his vision and what he wants for this team, and that's to win national titles.
Yeah, I mean, you can take a look around and, you guys walked through the house, obviously.
Yeah.
You're in like a Spartan lair, essentially. So this is coming from a place of love in terms of the program, not like judgment. But I got to shoot you straight. I was at almost every good moment of the 2015 season. I know you guys were like 7 years old at that point. But 2015, magical year for Michigan State, ends up going to the college football playoff. It shocks Ohio State down the road with a second and third string quarterback. It was a magical year. And so I drive down to Dallas. My wife's like 7.5 months pregnant. We rent a giant RV that none of us were qualified to drive. One of us ended up crashing it. No one hurt. But I saw what happened against Alabama. Hung in for a half and got our doors blown off. We saw Michigan as the best team in the Big Ten. Couldn't beat us, but top to bottom, overall, the best team in the Big Ten this year, I think, objectively, as much as it pains me to say it. We saw what happened to them. The score was actually misleading. Georgia could have beaten them by 70 if they felt like it. They took the foot off the gas. I do just wonder, can anybody except Ohio State in this conference really do it? Do you guys? I mean, I assume you watched at least part of the college football playoff, being football fans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you watch that and say, oh shit, like we're just not that team, or we're never going to be that team? Does that scare you at all? Because it scares me when I watch that. For a guy that wants to win a national title, does that put any fear of God into you guys?
I mean, not at all. I mean, if you saw like earlier in the season, Michigan State was put at top 3 ranked nationally, so you could definitely get up there. And I feel like if we get into that position with the recruits we have and the progress and the hill we're going up right now, I feel like we could definitely compete with those top teams.
Yeah.
I can't really say much about it because I wasn't here throughout the whole process of Michigan State, but I can just tell by the season they had and what they want to do and the goals that Coach Tuck has, he wants to win a national title, and he, like I said, he has the players to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the argument for Michigan State, which I'm always happy to make, was 2013, the Rose Bowl year. You guys were even younger then, obviously, but a lot of people have said if the college football playoff was in place then, that team would have won the whole thing. They were 13-1. The one loss in Notre Dame was like objectively controversial, where even objective analysts were saying the pass interference flags were egregious. And if they could get to the doorstep of being the best team in the country, if not being the best team in the country, before they spent all this money on facilities and recruiting and enhancing everything across the board, why couldn't they go 1 inch farther with all those resources in place? I think that's sort of the argument. But so you guys, is that a discussed thing up there? I know, like, personally you guys want that, but do you guys talk about titles up there? Was that sold to you in recruiting at all?
Yeah, so when I first got here, I had a meeting with Coach Tuck. He just sat down and told me, he was like, I'm glad to have you here. And you know what you came here for is to win national titles and make it to the next level, which is the NFL.
Were you dealing with Courtney Hawkins primarily, or was it Jay Johnson with you?
Yeah, it was both. It was Coach Jay and Coach Hawk.
Yeah, is Hawkins a pretty cool guy? I've heard nice things about Hawkins.
Oh, yeah, he's chill. He's mellow. He's a great coach. He's going to coach you the right way, teach you the right things, and he's going to do his best to get you to the next level.
I'm excited for both you guys, and I take my enthusiasm cues from Odell out there in the hallway. If Odell tells me to be excited about somebody, I'm excited. But I mean, your guys' highlights, we threw a couple of them obviously in the intro. But does the high school connection, the fact that you guys know each other, matter? Because everyone jokes about the Reed and Thorne thing, but I actually think there is something to that. Like, they know where they're going and what they're doing. Does that help you guys at all, like coming in having known each other prior?
Yeah, I mean, the relationship we had, it was very good. I mean, we haven't played with each other for about 2 years, so I mean, we've been throwing, so I mean, the connection is getting back real easy.
Yeah.
I feel like just the bond, not even on the football field, just in life and being friends and being my brother and stuff like that, I feel like that's just going to transition on the football field really well. Yeah, we haven't played for 2 years, but I mean, we're going out, we're throwing, we're going to start building that connection back, and just having him being my roommate and stuff like that too, I feel like it's just going to transition to the football field really well. So I can't wait.
Did they have you in the dorms up there? I can't remember what they do.
We're in University Village, so it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice setup we got.
I'm all for you guys, like, being good. I want the football players to have the nicest accommodations, because that's what we have to compete with down south and all that. But yeah, I think the personal thing is as much, it's not just like knowing where you are on the field, it's just the trust and having the camaraderie.
For sure.
Were you part of the recruitment at all? Because you tweeted the stay tuned or whatever, it was eyeball thing, right? That was you.
Yeah.
You mentioned it before he did. So were you working the phones there a little bit?
Yeah, I was talking to him before he was even got out of his NLI or whatever, and he stayed at Washington. I was like, I mean, we missed out on that, but then his coach left, and I texted him like, hey man, what are we doing? Like, what's the move? Are we coming here or what? And he was really interested, and he felt like it was the right decision. And I had a feeling that he was going to come here, so I tweeted that out just to get fans excited and stuff like that. And it all worked out, and I'm so excited he's here, and just can't wait to get on the field and start throwing with him.
Good job by you. Did you have permission to tweet the teaser?
Think so.
Yeah,
think so. I don't know. I just did it.
He didn't ask, but I didn't care.
Yeah, you implied.
We think we both knew.
Yeah,
it was gonna happen.
Well, I think that all the my buddy Justin Thin will be mad at me for forgetting what's it called, the crystal ball thing that they do.
Yeah,
like you were lighting it up like just the blue skies of Oregon with the crystal ball coming to Michigan State. So some people obviously knew that's where the buzz was. Yeah. Everybody knew when you tweeted that. Like when you were talking, it was like, all right, yeah. Like if there was one holdout on the crystal ball, they crossed over into the plane of confidence. But
yeah, they kind of knew when I posted my decommitment from Washington. They was like, he's in the Eastern time zone. I was like, wow. I didn't even think about it because I posted it like 10 at night, and then it's like 7 back at home. So they was like, oh, he posted in Eastern time zone. He's here in Michigan. Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Don't underestimate these people, man.
I know.
They will be like, they'll be zooming in on the corner and try to see if you have like a tab open up saying like places to eat in East Lansing or something. Like they will do a forensic analysis of anything you put out there. So yeah, I did see the thing of he's in the Eastern time zone, but to me it was like once the decommitment came out, it was pretty understood to some people that know the stuff that you were coming. But do you remember what was his pitch to you? Was it just like, hey man, let's do it, or was he telling you the?
Yeah,
facilities are nice, or what was
yeah.
that
Basically,
about?
I mean, that's basically what he said. He didn't say anything about the facilities or anything. He's just like, "Come on, bro, let's do it. Let's go win the natty." And then his dad texted me also. He was like, "Let's go, come be a Spartan or whatever."
You got the dad involved?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys do know each other. So. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, good job by you. Do you know any other like 4-star really good positions?
I gotta look. We gotta look. We're still working on it. So
are there any good cornerbacks there at Liberty High School or strong safeties? That's sorry. Like half the team watches the show at this point, so I gotta be careful what I say. So I want to transition to your head coach. Now this is where I always land with the Michigan State football guests, because I have 3 pieces of art of Mel Tucker on my wall. I've commissioned 2 paintings, and there's a portrait in the bathroom. I don't know if you saw. He's like staring at you. When he's the bathroom in there, so he's he's watching you everywhere. He's like Santa Claus. I'm so fascinated by the cult of personality with him. He's a guy I'm dying to get in here. First of all, he's like on my short list of 2 or 3 with coaches though that I'd love to sit with. We'll start here. When we brought this up with Connor Hayward and Kenneth Walker, I asked them what I'm going to ask you in a moment of just what is it about the guy? Like, do you guys care? Because the fans eat this shit up. Like, do the players actually care? What is it like? What is he like? This was their reaction when they were on the show, and then we'll get into you guys.
He comes every day with new pairs of shoes, trying to look all nice in his Lulu joggers, with his Perrier water, super bougie, but
actually threw me off the first time I ever seen him post. Like, cause he had like J's on, like he got better shoe game than me, bro. Like,
let me get some.
Like, cause like we in practice is meat and potatoes and stuff like that. No flair, none of that. Then I see his Instagram and he posting Jordans and stuff. Like, dang. Like,
so there's a lot of reasons to come to Michigan State before Mel Tucker got here. Storied program, nice facilities, all that. There's good position coaches here. We've mentioned a few of them, good coordinators. How much is Mel Tucker's presence here and what he is and what he represents, how much of that was a component here? Was it 40% of the pie? Are you here almost entirely because of Mel Tucker? I mean, whoever wants to jump in, but like I'm curious, I'm fascinated by the magnetism of him and what role that played for both of you sitting here today as Spartans.
Yeah, I mean, I'll kind of start, but I mean, just my first ever like impression of him was me walking out. There's a bunch of pictures of it, me walking out in the stadium and having a conversation with him, and just seeing videos of him like in game stuff like that. He's super fired up, super like energized and just motivating guys, and they kind of it's like a sense of intimidation there. So you want to make a good first impression and stuff like that. But once we did the home visit, I mean, he came to my house and you just want like I clean the house stuff and like get everything ready, and he's just once I met him, he's just super mellow, super down to earth, and once you like actually get to know him and talk to him and stuff like that, you have a sense of like bond and trust with him, and that translates on the football field. And still just talking with him, I just have that sense of trust, and I just can't wait. So I'm excited.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, the sense of trust was a big theme when I spoke with Lauren McCree a week and a half ago or so. She said our big thing, our ethos, if you will, with recruiting, and I think it's more implied than it is on the wall somewhere in some handbook or whatever. She said we are a genuine operation in terms of the recruiting team, like and the coaching staff. That they don't want to be like kind of over the top, like embarrassing, kind of fake with you. They're going to shoot you straight. When Tucker first got here, there were a lot of guys that left the program like within a week because apparently, reportedly, he was telling guys like, "Look, I don't have a spot for you. Like you're not going to play." Like he just shoots guys straight. So the trust and kind of straightforwardness was a big thing that Lauren was playing up. Is that kind of reflective of your vibe from him? I know you haven't been sort of in the Michigan State atmosphere as long as Katin has, but do you get he's like a genuine kind of straight shooter? Is that a big thing up there?
Oh no, yeah, definitely. If he didn't want me here, he'll definitely probably tell me or tell Coach Jay like I don't want him here. But he told Coach Jay, he was like, yeah, I definitely want him here. I want him with the guys. I feel like he could be one of our big aspects, and he could help us win games and be a big part of this program.
Does the swag stuff matter? Because the fans do love it, like the cigars, the Jordans. Because Kenneth Walker likes the Jordans. So, I mean, we got him on tape saying he liked the Jordan stuff. Like, I know that's not why you would come, but like, does that matter to you guys? Because the fans think that you guys eat that shit up, but fans get stuff wrong all the time.
Definitely, like you gotta have swag. Like if your coach got swag, you gonna have that confidence too. I mean, I like to wear Jordans too. I think it was Coach Jay. He was like, you better have your best shoes because Coach Tug got all of them. And when I walked in his office, I saw his shoes. I was like, dang, I'm trying to get like you, Coach.
Yeah. Does that matter to you, that stuff?
Yeah, and I feel like that too. He has a really good job relating with younger guys, and that goes along with recruiting too. If he can relate, so it's like wearing nice shoes and having a bunch of flash stuff like that, and relating with younger guys, it pulls guys into his program, and I feel like it's worked out in the best interest so far.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm a big D'Antonio fan and always will be, and appreciate what he did. But you do see the generational change there.
Yeah.
Like D'Antonio's Twitter presence. I mean, he technically has one, but I'm pretty sure someone else is writing these tweets for him. And whether it's him or somebody else, dictating or whatever, they're about as vanilla as they can be. It's just like, proud of the boys, go green. He's not like tweeting out pictures of his Jordans or whatever. I think in this era, it is an era of where half of recruiting or more is openly on social media, creating the graphics. You guys had, like, between the two of you, multiple really cool graphics coming from the Blaze Watson team up there in East Lansing. Blaze is a friend of mine too. So I think that stuff like really does matter. Fans do love it, but I think it really does matter to people that see that and just find him to be more relatable. Mm-hmm. Like, he's pretty down to earth when you talk to him? Like, do you feel comfortable talking to him?
Yeah, I mean, he's chill. Like he said, he's chill, mellow. I mean, he matches my personality. That's what I am. I'm chill, mellow. I mean, I really don't talk much unless I'm talked to or if I'm comfortable around you. So,
I've heard he's really funny, and I was surprised when I heard that because his press conferences, which I'm fine that they're vanilla, but they are very vanilla. They are like narcolepsy. They'll put you down. But to me, that's not even a criticism because, like, I don't want my head coach. We had a head coach here, John L. Smith, who was slapping himself on stage, like literally on tape, like slapping himself. So I'm cool with that. But he didn't strike me as a guy that would be like yucking it up with you at a restaurant or something. But I've heard he's actually like kind of funny. I know you're still relatively new to the experience, but is he like a pretty funny guy?
No, yeah. So him being really like mellow and quiet, he has a really unique sense of humor. And from talking with the guys on the team, I've heard stories of how, like, in team meetings and stuff, he'll just like pull up videos of like alligators in meetings and like showing how dragging like deer in the deep water and stuff like that. And his sense of humor is really unique, and I feel like that's really funny. And so
I mean, like he said in the meeting, like we had a meeting earlier this week, and he said some things that was definitely funny. I'm not gonna say it, but
you're not gonna. Come on, you gotta.
I can't even do it.
You can't tone it down or something. The stories they were Walker and Hayward were telling about some coach like drop. It was whoever I can't remember who it was. He said there's one like lunatic on the coaching staff who's like super super intense. I can't remember who it is or
I don't know who it is
if
either.
It ring a bell, but
no.
Yeah, they were giving me the good stuff. You can't tell. Can you give me the B- version of the? There's no. You can't go there. It's all right.
Oh no, nah, probably not.
No problem. No problem. I don't know. He's definitely got the grip of the fan base. That's clear.
For sure.
His suits when he had a $5.5 million salary were already kind of ridiculous. I want to see what he's going to come out with now that he's making like almost 10. I don't know how much nicer. Who's going to be making these things now? I don't know how you upgrade that wardrobe from where it was. I don't know. I want to talk a little bit about playing time, I guess, because you're in different situations just positionally in what's there. Obviously, like, I don't think you think you're going to unseat Peyton Thorne like in a few months. He's got the job essentially. Mm-hmm. And, conversely, like, receiver position is a little bit different where there's more than one guy. There's teams that use 4 or 5 guys even without any injuries at all. So, like, I feel like you have sort of a quicker path. I'll start with you, Katin, being in the quarterback position that you are, knowing that there's going to be some type of waiting, whether it's a year or 2 years or whatever. Like, how is your appetite for waiting? Because we are in the transfer portal era where if guys don't play, like, right away, it's like, peace out, I'm out of here. Like, are you willing to kind of wait your turn, for lack of a better term?
Honestly, I'm not trying to think too much about that. I'm trying to live in this moment right now. The biggest thing, my mentality right now is just trying to be a sponge and take in as much information as I can. Obviously, Peyton came off a really good year. I feel like if I get a chance to learn under him for a little bit and be able to compete, I'm just trying to learn as much as I can, and we'll see how it all pans out. But, I mean, I can't wait to start working and start competing.
So you don't see yourself, like, in a spot where, if Coach Tuck, let's say Peyton Thorne goes to the NFL, he's first overall pick, it's great. And Tuck comes up to you and says, hey, Noah Kim and Katin, you're my 2 guys. It's going to be open camp or whatever. And you're not going to say to him, like, look, this is my job. Thorne's gone, like, F you kind of thing. Because kids have done that. Like, are you kind of the mindset where, like, I'm starting from square one, I'm going to go earn this? Because we have seen sort of the opposite side of that, like where people kind of take the quick exit. And that's you're right. I always say, like, quickest path to the field, you got to do what's best for the guy. but like kind of what's your mentality? Are you kind of willing to do the Peyton Thorne thing where he had to beat out Anthony Russo, who was brought in to challenge him?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like throughout my high school career, I've been put in an atmosphere where I had to compete. So I'm not scared of competition. I'm ready to go in and win that job whenever that time presents itself. But I mean, I'm always ready to compete, and I feel like if I got put in that situation, I would definitely go and compete and not look anywhere else.
Yeah, so you were part of a quote Mickey Mouse quarterback rotation, as Odell would say in high school, which I don't know if I'm sure the other guy was really good, but the rotating thing doesn't really work. But like for receivers, it's a little different. Yep. I mean, I don't know if this discussion has taken place with you on the coaching staff, but there's no reason to think you wouldn't play some this year, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, is that kind of your expectation or what you think will happen?
My expectation is to start. I don't think anything less of that because I know what my goals and aspirations are and how competitive I am and how hard I work. So, I mean, as long as I know the playbook and know the plays, I mean, my talent does the rest.
Do you have anything in the way of assurances from them? Because their big thing is we don't make promises about, we're guaranteeing playing time.
Nah, Coach Hawk was just like, I play freshman. So, I mean, if you're better than the guy in front of you, then I'm going to play you.
Yeah, it's merit-based, pretty hardcore. And we do have, like, even guys that do play, Hunter Rison comes to mind, son of Andre Rison, Michigan State receiver legend, where his true freshman year, he was playing. I mean, he wasn't the starter, but he was getting like the fourth most reps, and he's like, I'm not playing enough. I want to go. Just your general opinion on, I mean, obviously you're going to do what you're going to do, and like I said, I always defend kids doing what's best for them. Like I think you should. But do you have an appetite to wait if they tell you, like, look, you got to wait till your sophomore year, like, kind of be a good teammate and clap thing? Because you're a gamer. Like I read some of your scouting reports. Like you're a competitor. Would that be too hard for you if it came to that where you had to mostly watch for a year?
Nah, it wouldn't, but that's not going to happen.
All right, I love it.
It's not
Good.
going to happen.
Good. Yeah, I mean, see, the scouting reports are true. Yeah, they don't want to mess with you. And by the way, by everything I've read, the expectation is that you would be playing. It is interesting, like the position thing is so different because you were sort of like equal, 4-star, both heralded recruits coming in. But like, your timelines are so different and can be so different. So I don't know. The transfer portal thing, I don't know what to make of it. Like obviously Michigan State hitting with Kenneth Walker is like the best thing ever. So I don't like dislike it, but it is a little chaotic with guys like, oh, I played the second most reps instead of the first most in my position group. Like I'm just out. I don't know. It does seem like a little bit of a revolving door, but I mean, it remains to be seen. I like that we're hitting it hard, but I don't know. For this year, expectations, obviously 11-2 this past season, losing, I think, objectively the best player on the team in Kenneth Walker, but still a lot of guys coming back, even though with Naylor gone, Reed is back, Thorne's back. What's sort of the vibe up there? I know you're coming in at the tail end of this season and sort of they're doing their exit interviews and all that. But what's the vibe up there for going into next year? Because the consensus seems to be, okay, it was a magical year, but we're going to be back in 7-5, 8-4 land for a year and then pop back up. We were all the same people saying they were 6-6 at best this year, though, so we don't know what we're talking about. Like, what's sort of the vibe up there for going into next year and the momentum that's been built?
It's definitely to win the national title, of course, but we're just going to take it game by game. We're going to grind every week, and we're going to go out on the field on Saturdays and show everybody what we could do.
Yeah, just keeping the foot on the gas. I mean, they came off a really good season, 11-2. Obviously, we want to stay on that progress. So, I mean, just going out day by day and just getting better each and every day. I feel like that's just important, just to create a better football team.
Have you guys? You said you talked to Peyton Thorne a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
What's he like? Is he kind of like, hey, kid, happy to have you? Come learn from me, or is it?
No, he's super cool. I mean, I met him like a little bit, just said hi or whatever. But yeah, I'm ready to work. So, I mean, just talking with him and. I mean, he's been really nice to me, so I'm excited to start working with him.
Have you talked to Peyton Thorne at all?
Yeah, actually twice. So one was in a facility. He was in the training room, and I walked in. He was watching my film. And then so I introduced myself, and I was like, what's up? And he was like, bro, I'm pumped to have you here. I'm pumped to have you on the receiving corps, and I can't wait to work. And then the second time was last night. We was just chilling, like me, Jay Reed, and a couple of Katin was there. And he was just like, what's up, Germ? Like, how you doing? Whatever. So
he seems to be like, it was Kenneth Walker's team as quiet and unassuming as Kenneth Walker was, almost by default. Like, if you have one of the best 5 years in the history of a program that's been around since the 1800s, like, it's kind of your team. But it seems to be transitioning to Thorne's team now. Do you guys get that sense like it's Peyton Thorne's locker room at this point, or is it more of a shared hat duty up there?
What do you think?
I think it's everybody's team. It's not just one person's team.
Yeah, so there's no clear cut like kind of one guy up there. No. Yeah, I mean, I know you guys. I guess we'll find out more in a few months when we get there. When do you guys have to go to? When's like the spring game? I always forget.
It's like April 16th.
Okay, April 6th. That's gonna come up fast, man. That's exciting. So we'll get to now. We do this every time we do. It's called the speed round. Now normally it's pretty fast. I wanted to pick a little bit longer topic. So it's called the speed round. You'll see the speed round graphic, but don't feel like you have to like say in 4 seconds. We can kind of get into it. So let's hit the speed round, Ben. We'll get into that. So this may be a talk radio topic, but I got to ask, you guys are West Coast warm weather guys. You're California guys, right? So Nevada, California. So you're not used to the garbage that you drove here to be in, basically, is like 15 degrees. It kind of sucks out here. The Michigan winter, this is something I was told off the record by a recruit who ended up going elsewhere, that they just didn't want to be here in the winter. Like, they don't want to play in the cold. Like, they didn't want to live here. The weather was the biggest deal breaker. You guys, maybe even more so coming from warm climates, like, is that a thing that was even on your radar? I don't want to play in the 2 degree shit.
I mean, I knew what kind of weather I was coming to. I got a family that lives in Minnesota, so I know it's cold up there. But, I mean, I knew I was coming. So, I mean, it wasn't like a big surprise.
Yeah, so you're doing fine. I mean, you're California cool.
Yeah, no. Same thing. So you kind of know what you're walking into, but until you actually experience it, you don't really realize how cold it is. But, I mean, we've been here for a week, so we kind of got used to it already.
Yeah, I never understood these guys that like throw the ball well. Like the receiver thing, I can get. Like you keep your legs, warm, and you just run and do the best you can. But like the quarterback and the cold thing, I'm fascinated by because I mean I'm not at your level of athletic skill, obviously. But like if I go out and play catch and it's cold, like I can't feel my hand, I can't do shit. Like I don't know how you guys even do that. Have you even played in a cold weather game? You're out.
Not really in high school. I mean, high school, we played like maybe one cold game. I had like one hand warmer, but especially like these games, I got to get adjusted to it. So
yeah, so not too much shock. You guys were doing fine, and you guys rolled up in here in hoodies. So
one jacket. I mean, I'm good right now.
Yeah,
so.
Throw a coat on. You're good. All right, moving on. Pre-game playlist. Now I don't need your whole playlist, but you admired the playlist that we had going right before the show, Germie.
Yeah.
So. Like, what's kind of your, the artists or kind of music? What are you listening to? Like, you strap the headphones on like Mahomes. Like, what are you listening to before a game? Obviously, high school, you haven't played a college game yet, but what kind of gets you going?
I usually listen to Lil Baby.
Lil Baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
I usually, just mostly him on game days.
Yeah?
I have a variation. So I listen to rap and then also 90s grunge. I feel like that's a good playlist for, so I've kind of like a two, rock and rap. So,
yeah. Good. All right. Being a freshman is the next one. Just in general, I mean, you guys were, I'm guessing, the best players at your high schools, and I know you were together and then split off. Is it kind of weird to go from I'm a senior, I'm like the hot shot and the best player on this team, probably had a lot of like people that liked you, I guess. If it was anything like my high school, the football players were gods there. Like, is it weird at all to go up to Michigan State and it's like I'm just another guy here kind of grinding? Like that transition, has that been weird or what's that been like?
Nah, the players welcome us like we're one of them. So I mean, they're not belittling us. So I mean, everything is fine, honestly.
There's no like hazing. You're not carrying pads.
No.
Nothing. They don't do anything.
I mean, it's pretty humbling just to know like you're not like the top guy anymore. But I feel like that's good for me at least, just to have like a competitive edge and go in and know I have to prove myself every day. So I take that and with the chip on my shoulder and go and working every day. I
mean, I'm certain like all athletes at your level, you have some level of like a healthy ego where it's like you're good and you had guys courting you, and I get that. But is there any element where like you're walking into this massive building, you're a part of this program now, and you're like, holy shit, I hope my shoes are tied? Because that's what I think when I go there just as a spectator.
Nah, it's just like I come in, I'm like, okay, I got to work. I know they're going to push me, and I know I'm going to be able to push them. I mean, like I said, I'm competitive, so, I mean, I don't really get scared of any competition.
Yeah, same with me. I feel like just walking in the building and already starting working out with the team and stuff, you don't really take that and be scared or nervous about anything. You just go and put your head down and work, so. Yeah.
Good. So I got to ask you this one, and as fresh as you may be to it, you'll find out soon enough. The University of Michigan, the hated rival of your now school. What's your take on U of M? Is it something that's kind of already been on your radar up there, like that we don't like them? Is that a presence you felt early on, or is that not really crossed your plane yet?
Yeah, I already took pride in not liking them. So
beforehand.
Yeah, beforehand. So
what was that about?
I just never really liked them. I don't even refer to them as the name anymore. So I obviously taken that rivalry and kind of ingrained it in my play already. So yeah, I can't wait to play that game. That's gonna be fun.
You feel it up there,
I
though.
Feel it.
It's
different when you're up here. You can kind of feel the tension between the two schools, but
it's palpable.
Yeah.
Has that kind of been your experience here so far?
I mean, beforehand, I never really had any hate towards them. But I mean, now that I'm hearing everybody talks about it, I mean, I gotta have the same tension towards them as they do.
I mean, you could beat them 3 or 4 times in a row, however long you guys are, here. Maybe you'll jump early, but it doesn't matter. There's never a point where Michigan's like, hey, good job, you got us. Where I'm actually the opposite. They hammered us a couple of years ago in Ann Arbor, and I was like, hey, kick State's ass. That sucks. I hated every minute of it, but good job. I feel like it never goes the other way. They will trash talk you when they're 3-9 and you destroyed them on their own field. It doesn't really matter. That's, I think, the big theme that you'll pick up on if you haven't already is they kind of they'll shit on you guys too, on the field. Darian Harris talked about it on my show before we had the pretty cameras and all that. But he's like, yeah, they're talking junk on the field. It's that was back when Michigan State was rolling and Michigan was down. It's we're way better than you. There's no breaking that from them. So I don't know. You said you're pretty excited to get on the field in that game.
That's gonna be a fun game.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think I saw one year. I saw a tweet where they were playing each other, and then one of the Michigan guys was on the Spartan, and he was messing up the Spartan head or whatever. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's standard. The Magic Johnson statue outside of the Breslin Center where the basketball team plays was defaced with the yellow spray paint, and then we beat him the next day, which was always fun.
Yeah.
It's a real it's real animosity. Now the best man at my wedding's a Michigan guy and played hockey there, and it's I have a ton of friends at Michigan, so I'm pretty cool with them. But the Twitter stuff, I mean, you guys have people hopping in your DMs I don't know if they threaten you, but you should see the stuff I get for a guy that's not a high profile like you guys. But the Michigan Twitter stuff gets pretty nasty. So I can't wait to see you guys play in that game too. And we might see you play in a few months in Ann Arbor, frankly. I mean, with your trajectory. So I'm curious to maybe have you back after and kind of get your opinion on what it was like out there. Speaking of Twitter, Michigan State University Twitter, we hit on it a little bit. I think we have one of the best fan bases for the social media engagement stuff. I think it was CBS had their report of the top 100 schools in terms of engagement, and Michigan State was second or third in the whole country. It's Alabama, Ohio State, and Michigan State. What's kind of been your experience with the Michigan State Twitter and the Odell Bredums? Has that been fun for you guys, or is it these people are weirdos?
When I first committed, I got a couple follows on Instagram, and then I had posted a tweet out, and then I jumped to almost 2,000. I mean, I got 2,000 followers after that on Instagram. Also on Twitter, I jumped a lot too.
Yeah, it's a strong presence for sure.
Yeah, just having the support from the fan base is really reassuring. So I'm excited, just to keep in contact with them and go out in the field and show what I can do.
Did you see the Odell Bredum, any of the Odell Bredum stuff about you? Because he narrated, the unknowingly the intro. So that was all the stuff he said.
Yeah, I remember him. I was getting flashbacks.
Yeah.
Funny.
So have you practiced your Heisman speech yet?
Nah.
No, you're not there yet?
Nah, I got to focus on winning games first.
Yeah. Well, I don't. He's not waiting. He's out in the hallway. He's ready.
He's ready.
He's polishing it for you, actually. Yeah. So we'll finish here. I'm going to put you through a little Michigan State fashion show. So Michigan State, with the relationship with Nike, it's one of the most established brands with Nike in the country. I mean, right up there, but slightly behind Oregon, but right up there with everybody else. So we have more uniform variations than anybody outside of Oregon, frankly. So I pulled 6. These are 6 of the most kind of common ones. We have, none of the we picked one of the standard ones, but we picked kind of 5 alternates and one, kind of standard green. So some people just listen to the show and don't watch. They're SOL. Sorry, guys. Watch it on YouTube. That's on you. But so we put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The 6 different looks up there. We'll start with you, Katin. What's kind of your favorite and your least favorite up there?
I'm liking the bottom right corner. I like the helmet on that one. I like the whites too.
You like the chrome helmet on
that
Connor Cook there?
Yeah, that one's sweet.
I'm a big number 4 guy. The white on white, the Stormtrooper look is pretty good.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's like a run. You got to tell me the ugliest one though. We all know it. Just say it.
Yeah, I love Michigan State, but those uniforms are disgusting.
The neon.
Yeah, they're horrible.
Those are so bad.
That's drip.
You like it?
That's drip.
What?
But
the other guys liked it too. Hayward and Walker liked the neon.
It's just the pants, honestly.
That's drip.
I don't like the pants.
I mean, but honestly, mine was number 2. I like the gold helmets with the gold numbers.
Yeah.
A little old school.
That's like my probably second favorite. I love that one. Yeah, that helmet's actually right behind
Kirk
you.
Cousins makes it. I mean, the face mask just makes it look ugly, but the helmet's cool.
Yeah. We should have used somebody not wearing that goofy face mask. But I mean, obviously, like the classic number 3 Spartan greens are great too. But I actually like, for the most part, I really like all of them, honestly, except for the neon. You said just the pants are the issue, but that giant state font is ridiculous. Yeah. That's a catastrophe. Thank God Katin's got my back on this, because every player I bring on here is like, oh, the neons are bomb, man. It's they're terrible.
They're definitely unique for
That's
sure.
drip. The ugliest one is number 5 for sure.
Which was the bronze helmet? Oh man, I liked that one. I don't know. But you like the neon more?
Yeah.
That's
funny.
To each their own, man. Is that like, whenever we wear the goofy shit, people say like, oh, recruits love that. Is that something you guys like give a shit about?
I feel like that's funny though. Like if you beat like a really good team in a really ugly uniform, I feel like that's just kind of funny to me. I don't know.
I just want Oregon to have the monopoly on the like, we beat teams in shitty outfits. Like that's, if they can do it, like they have the monopoly on that. Like let's kind of let them have that lane to themselves. But well, guys, I hope I didn't keep you too long. I told you I'd try to get you out in an hour or less. I don't know how Ben. How long did I keep him? Did I keep him in under an hour?
Hour 52, so we're good.
Pretty good.
Beautiful, man. You guys did a great job. So I just want to say on behalf of everybody in Spartan Nation, welcome to Spartan Nation. I'm happy that you guys landed here. I'm excited to watch what you guys do. Everything I've heard about both of you has been fantastic up there. Lauren spoke very highly of both of you, and I spoke to her off camera about both of you. And I just honestly wish you well. I think you have a bright future ahead, and I appreciate you giving Michigan State the time of day, and even more so the Spiro Avenue Show the time of day.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Really
honored to be here.
Of course. And good luck to you guys, and go green. Wishing you well, guys.
Go white.
Yes, sir.
All right, so you already learned. So that was the Spiro Avenue Show. Justin Spiro. Happy to have 2 more guys here. This is kind of a thing. We're trying to put the blessing of the Avenue Show on guys, and then they can go on to win the Walter Camp Award and the Doak Walker Award in the immediate wake of having appeared here. So I will take whatever credit wants to be given to me, as unearned as it may be. But certainly we just thrilled to have you guys. And Katin Hauser, Jeremy Bernard, just bright future ahead for them at Michigan State, and a lot to look forward to. Want to say thank you, obviously, to Ben, Augusta, the great and powerful Oz on the other side of the wall there. Great job as always. Made a wonderful video, Ben, you did, with very short notice, using the script unwittingly produced by Odell Bredham Jr. I'd like to thank Odell Bredham for his unwilling participation in that, and for coming out to hang out tonight for a little bit with us. Eric Williamson in his boxers on his couch at home watching this. Thank you to Eric, set designer, graphic designer. We got a lot more coming, guys. Stay tuned. Spiro Avenue Show next week. Some good stuff coming. Hang in there with us. And go green.
Go white.